Before we can understand where everything is leading, we must discover where it all began. Before light itself even existed, there was only an endless silence, waiting for the first awakening. From the heart of chaos, an ancient presence began to breathe, as if the void itself had found a soul. Then Gaia rose, immense and alive, the first mother shaped by the raw force of creation. Beneath her steps, stone, valley, and mountain were born, as if the world obeyed the secret pulse of her body. From her gestures came the seas, and the newborn earth gained depth, weight, and promise. But above Gaia there was still a cold emptiness, and that emptiness would soon receive a name feared by all creation. Thus Uranus arose, covering all things with his celestial form and the terrible beauty of an eternal sky. When earth and sky came together, the universe ceased to be empty and began to throb like a living force. Under that colossal embrace, the world blossomed with divine urgency, and every stone seemed to be born with purpose. Stars flared to life, winds awakened, and creation at last seemed to move in perfect harmony. From that union were born ancient children, vast and powerful, carrying within them the raw strength of the beginning. With each new child, the earth grew stronger, but in the sky a fear began to rise that no one could yet see. Uranus saw in his own blood the sign of a power capable of challenging even the vastness of the heavens. The fear of losing dominion hardened his greatness, and the beauty of the firmament began to feel heavy. Then the sky ceased to protect and began to crush, pressing the fate of his children against the womb of the earth itself. Gaia felt within herself the weight of that prison, and so in silence the first pain in the world was born. Mountains trembled, seas darkened, and even the wind seemed to carry the lament of the hidden children. Meanwhile, Uranus reigned above all things, beautiful as the stars and cold as a merciless fate. But in the depths, rebellion ripened like a hidden flame, waiting for the right moment to rise. Gaia abandoned lamentation and turned pain into an ancient will, hard and impossible to stop. From the depths of stone, she shaped a silent weapon, born not from hatred, but from the need to break the sky. She called to her children in the darkness, but fear still ruled almost all of them before the immensity of Uranus. Then one of them stepped forward, steady and silent, his eyes filled with a cold courage. Gaia recognized in Cronus a strength that did not retreat, and she placed upon him the terrible weight of choice. In that moment, even before the blow was struck, the whole sky seemed to tremble before the first rebellion in the world. In the sacred darkness of the earth, Cronus waited motionless, while above him the sky descended like an endless weight. Gaia silenced her own suffering and opened space within herself so that rebellion could find its path. Uranus descended once more to cover the earth, unaware that fate was already breathing just beneath his glory. The mountains held their breath, the seas fell still for a moment, and even the stars seemed to wait for the impossible blow. Then Cronus rose from the depths, like an ancient sentence finally taking shape. With the ancestral sickle in his hands, he severed the dominion of the sky and tore apart the union that kept the world imprisoned. The whole firmament exploded in light and echo, and creation trembled as if it were being remade through pain. Uranus recoiled in shock, and for the first time the sky knew the terrible taste of falling. The earth split open in flashes, and fragments of divine force fell upon the world like seeds of new destinies. From the violence of that rupture were born fierce presences, ancient as vengeance and swift as fear. From the astonishment of the sea arose a luminous foam, as if even the waters had been given a divine secret. While the world received these marks, Gaia at last felt the sky pulling away from her wounded body. For the first time, there was distance between earth and firmament, and in that distance was born the space where life could grow. The hidden children emerged from their prison, immense, ancient, and burdened with the memory of darkness. Among them all, Cronus remained standing, his sickle lowered, silent like one who already knew the price of victory. Uranus, now distant, gathered his wounded greatness back into the heights, but left behind in the void a threat not yet finished. The earth breathed in relief, but the silence that followed was not peace, only the preparation for a new age. Cronus walked among his freed brothers, and with every step it seemed natural that power should now follow him. Gaia watched her victorious son, and realized that the force that overthrows a tyrant can also learn to rule through fear. Even free, the world still bore the mark of the ancient sky, and no victory seemed capable of erasing that weight. Above, the stars rearranged themselves in silence, as if the universe itself were rewriting its laws. In the newly opened valleys, echoes of the ancient conflict still pulsed, reminding all that every creation is born beside a wound. Cronus raised the sickle before the new horizon, and in that gesture the future promised glory and ruin at once. Gaia felt the world continue to turn, but now under a fragile balance, beautiful and deeply uncertain. While the defeated sky hid itself in the distance, the earth understood that the story of the world had only changed masters. High above, wounded and far away, Uranus still watched the world like a fallen greatness that refused to disappear. Even from afar, the ancient sky left over creation an invisible shadow, as if its fall still promised a return. On the liberated earth, the silence that followed the shock was too vast to be called peace. Cronus moved among his brothers like one who already carried in his body the weight of a throne that did not yet exist. The freed children looked upon him with reverence and caution, for the same hand that saved could also rule. Gaia saw freedom being born, but understood that every victory carries within it the seed of a new harshness. With the sky pushed away, the world breathed differently, and the first true space opened between the heights and the ground. It was within that distance that the rhythms of the world were born, because now light could depart and return. The waters found their paths, the winds learned to run, and the mountains ceased to be mere force and became a world. Gaia felt every valley and every wave as part of a newly freed body, still aching but finally whole. But above the clouds, the marks of Uranus remained engraved upon the stars, like scars that never fade. Cronus raised his dominion over the opened earth, and the air began to carry the weight of a severe order. It was no longer the sky crushing the world, but the idea that power always demands more power. Gaia recognized that weight before anyone else, because it was within her own body that tyranny had first been born. Even so, the earth did not stop, because creation never waits for purity in order to keep existing. In the fissures opened by pain, Gaia scattered strength, life, and promise as one who defies fate with patience. The world then revealed its oldest truth. It had not been born from peace, but from the brutal meeting of embrace and rupture. Cronus gazed upon the horizon as the lord of the new age, unaware that every ruler one day becomes a threat to the future. Far away, Uranus became height, distance, and memory, but his presence never fully left the firmament. Since then, every night has carried a trace of the ancient sky, and every dawn has seemed to answer the strength of the earth. Thus, time began to weigh upon the world, not as a number, but as fate pushing all things forward. Gaia remained standing at the center of everything, maternal and ancient, seeing that to create the world also meant enduring its future falls. In the silence of the heights and the firmness of the earth, there already slept the promise of other gods, other conflicts, and other falls. The origin of the world was not merely a beginning, but the first proof that even the divine can fall. And so, between Gaia and Uranus, the world was born, beautiful as creation, fierce as power, and eternal as the memory of its first fall. If you love mythology, mystery, and epic storytelling, this channel was made for you. Subscribe now.